Greetings, and thank you for joining us for the 61st episode of DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend.
Hey, it's me for the first time in a long time, but here we are.
It's been a while.
It's been a
It has been a while.
while.
And that's okay. It's end friends, so I can't have like the same people on all the time.
You have a lot of friends.
I have a few friends here and there. But could you tell the people who you are real quick?
My name's Alexis, and I'm happy to be back.
Alexis is joining us today. Real quick, could you remind the people just about your DC consumption?
Um, I grew up watching the Justice League series that was on. I watched the movies when they come out. I don't follow a ton of the animation, but I have seen this one before this podcast, so I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that works out. Well, thank you for joining us on this journey through DC animation. Today's film is DC League of Super Pets, released July 29th, 2022, and the comic book on which it was based is Legion of Super Pets. I will read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're just going to talk about it. So, we open with Krypto and Superman as babies. Krypton is near death, and Superman's parents put him in the pod and send him to Earth, and Krypto jumps in the pod and makes the trip with Superman as Krypton is being destroyed. In today time, Krypto wakes up Superman because it's time for a walk. There is a montage of them saving the day, and then Superman meets up with Lois, and Krypto has to come to terms with Superman's having a relationship with Lois and the impact that could have on their relationship. Over in an animal shelter, Ace is making plans to escape, which is successful, and Krypto stops him. Ace is put back in his cage, and Lex Luthor tries to use orange kryptonite to give himself powers, but he is stopped by the Justice League. Lulu does manage to get a piece of the orange kryptonite, tells her origin story, and uses her new telekinetic powers to escape. The other animals also get powers. Ace is super strong and invulnerable. PB can change size. Merton has super speed but still can't see. And Chip has electric powers. Krypto is mad because Superman is going on a date with Lois, but Superman is attacked by Lulu, who has green kryptonite. Lulu also puts some green kryptonite in some cheese, depowering Krypto as well. Krypto talks to a hologram of his father and comes across the other pets from the shelter who agree to help him now that they have powers. Lulu goes to recruit some help and plans to break Lex out of prison when Batman and Wonder Woman show up and a fight ensues. The Justice League is defeated by Lulu's army and the pets show up and pretty immediately fail to be effective. Krypto tries to attack Lulu but is immediately stopped, and he tries to explain that Lex is just using her, and she retorts by telling him that Superman plans to marry Lois. Lulu throws him to the Hall of Justice, and the other pets meet up with him. Ace tells Krypto his origin story, and the pets head to Stryker's Island, figuring that's where Lulu is going to go. They get into the invisible jet, and it is shot down by Whiskers. With teamwork, they are able to defeat Whiskers, and they make their way to Stryker's Island. Lulu puts them all in a cell and frees Lex, and Lex puts Lulu in a cell, and she is furious. She reveals her plan to destroy the Justice League, and the members of her army release her from her cell. Krypto gets his powers back and goes to save the League. Unfortunately, Lulu pushes the button, which launches the League into space. Krypto is forced to choose between saving the League and saving Lois, but the other pets show up right on time. Krypto saves Lois and fights Lulu, while the other pets go and save the League. Everyone is saved, and Lulu absorbs the orange kryptonite, turning herself into a kaiju. Lulu is too much for the League, so Krypto resorts to the Solar Paw Punch, which wins the day. Everyone in the League gets a new super pet, and the super pets join together to stop a giant mutated dog. After some credits, Lex is confined still, and Mercy takes Lulu as her pet. After more credits, Superman and Krypto meet Black Adam and his dog because The Rock has a movie to promote. And that's the movie. So, Alexis, what do we think of the movie?
I think it's fun, but I was like, of course, The Rock and Kevin Hart are in this. It's 2022. They probably did the voice recording before, way before that, in their like time when they were in all the films.
Yep.
The voice cast is pretty stacked, though.
There are a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah.
Like a surprising number of people in this movie. And it was 20, the fact that it came out in 2022 means that it was done during the pandemic.
hmm
So I'm sure a lot of these actors had nothing but time.
They're just chilling at home, recording their bits, sending them off.
Yeah, because again, there were some surprisingly heavy hitters in this movie. Like
hmm
there were a lot of people that when I heard, I was like, oh, okay. Like when I heard Keanu Reeves, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
all
he's
right.
Batman.
Yeah. Keith David was Crypto's father.
Keith David being Dog L was so funny.
Like what are we doing? Maya Erskine was Mercy. Like that's
Mhm.
they had some heavy hitters. Fucking
Yeah, John Krasinski was Superman.
John Krasinski was Superman,
Kate
and
McKinnon was
I
in
love
it.
Kate McKinnon.
I was
I
like,
love
who
Kate
is
McKinnon.
this creepy guinea pig? Oh my God, it's Kate McKinnon. Of course it is.
And that Natasha Lyon or
Mm-hmm. I think
Leone.
it's Leon.
Yeah, Natasha Leone, great job. Like I loved her as Merton.
Merton. Oh my God. That's
It
just
was it was hilarious.
horny blind turtle. That's who that is.
Yeah, she was trying to have them helmets.
Cousin.
Yes, that was another great thing. Like, yeah, they just bleeped her, but yeah, it was hilarious.
I think Merton's my favorite super pet.
I think I agree. Um, but yeah, it was a heavy hitting cast. So but I will say, didn't like Kevin Hart as Ace.
Yeah, because he's like, because Ace is I feel like more serious. Like, obviously, he's like, spoiler alert, Batman's pet. But like, I was like, I feel like the role should be reversed.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think they should have been reversed necessarily. I just think it shouldn't have been Kevin Hart.
he could
Like
have been one of the like silly, goofy ones, I feel like, because Ace isn't a silly, goofy one.
that was a poor casting choice in my opinion.
I think they were just like, he's a main character, so let's make him this one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it was a The Rock and Kevin Hart movie. Like
Yes.
those two are just this was a time when they were just in everything together.
Yeah, the Jumanjis.
Yeah. Central Intelligence,
Yeah.
like they had a run together. So this is just another one of those. But yeah, I that was the one voice casting that I didn't like Kevin Hart as Ace in
hmm
this movie like at all. Everybody else I was pretty happy with.
Yeah.
I was even like Flight of the Concorde was Aquaman, which is just hilarious. But yeah, it was a good time. Oh,
hmm
I fucks with Jamila Jamil.
Yeah.
Um, and Wonder Woman was so okay. We like the voice cast. We agree for the most part.
Yes. For the most part, yeah.
How do we feel about the animation?
I mean, I liked it. It's the typical 3D animation that they do, and I feel like they were trying to make it still comic book-esque. So I was fine with this one.
Okay, it felt more like animation-y than comic booky to me.
Yes.
But yeah, Wonder Woman was huge.
hmm
Like Wonder Woman, yeah, like she was built like she probably should be. Like I think she was built appropriately.
She's an
Um,
Amazon.
exactly. I didn't love Batman's animation.
He was very cartoony with really long ears.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he's a part of why I'm like, yeah, they leaned more like very standard animation for kids. Like
hmm
it felt like the I mean, and this is probably on purpose, but the animals were animated really well. The people were like really like had weird proportions.
Hmm.
and were super cartoony.
Yeah.
And that was probably, by design. Uh, they made I didn't love Cyborg having a furrow.
Yeah, because he had like a half fro because the other half of his head's a cyborg.
Yeah, and I was like, we didn't need to do that.
Aquaman
Um,
with like the shaved sides and long hair made sense because Momoa's been playing him, so
yes,
that made sense to me.
yes, Aquaman made sense because I agree for the same reason. Like Aquaman looking like he did, I was like, yeah, this tracks.
Hmm.
Um, him being from that, like clearly being from that part of like the islands,
Hmm.
like that made sense. Um, they made Jessica Cruz thick,
Yeah, they
and
did.
and I think that's because the actress who played her is thick.
Yeah.
So, yep, that made sense. Um, but yeah, I think that Lex looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't love Mark Maron as Lex, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I feel like he wasn't in it enough to really form an opinion about like it's like you're not gonna hate it because he's not in it like a ton.
Yeah,
And yeah, because like in reality, Lex Luthor's not the villain of this movie.
yeah. But yeah, I love that they just kind of gave Keanu Reeves some line reads as Batman. Like I'm glad that they let him get a couple minutes.
He goes, the scene after they just got finished like fighting and threw the orange kryptonite back in the air, and they're like, "Oh God, he's making out with his dog again," and he just goes, "I miss my family." I was like,
Yeah. So there was something like this movie was of course heavily comedic, very targeted toward children,
mhm.
but still a good time regardless. Um oh God, who was Lois? Um I think Olivia Wilde was Lois. And I like Olivia Wilde in general. Like the first time I saw Olivia Wilde, I was like, if Megara was a real person, I feel like she would look kind of like Olivia Wilde.
Oh, 100%.
And Megara was probably my first crush. Like, because we're talking year of our Lord 1997. So yeah, I was like, oh yeah, Hercules, I see why he was just falling over himself when he saw her. But sidebar. Anyway, um, so talking through the movie a little bit, we open with kind of the destruction of Krypton and Superman being placed in the pod by his parents, and they just have a dog.
Yeah.
And so the dog just kind of like goes with Superman, and the the elves are like, I mean, he should probably have a friend.
They,
Like,
initially they tried to hold the dog back, and I was like, "Oh, they're just gonna let that dog die with them."
yeah, they said, yeah, the dog is staying here, and Krypton violently went in this movie. Like Krypton
Hmm.
is gone.
It said it got the full Alderaan treatment in this one.
Yeah, yeah, Krypton is no more, and so we see to daytime, and Superman is obviously a heavy sleeper.
Yeah, I was like, there ain't no way he's getting drug out of bed and not waking up.
Exactly. So it's time for a walk, which means it's time for a fly.
Yeah, that he said walk o'clock, and I was like, it's fly o'clock.
Yeah, but walk o'clock rhymes.
It does.
And walking is what you typically do with a dog.
Yeah, I will
So,
say it was pretty funny seeing Superman do these like mundane pet owner things.
yes. Because that's what the movie's about. The movie's
Yeah.
about Superman having a pet. And so we see them just saving the day, little montage. We love a montage. And then Superman meets up with Lois. And Crypto is just in the way. Just really in their faces. And eventually, uh the Batman toy ends up in the tree, and there's some other dogs that are like, hey, they don't want you around. Like, they're trying to get rid of you. Look what's happening. And he has to, like, come to terms with that. So now we're over at the animal shelter. And we, meet a little colorful band of animals. We see there's Ace, of course. We see there's a hairless guinea pig. We see there's a pig. We see a squirrel and, a turtle, some cats. And this is the first time we see Lulu. What were your thoughts when you saw and heard Lulu?
Lulu made me uncomfortable.
Good. That's what she was supposed to do. Um, Lulu immediately made me think of Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Yes, very
Like
much so.
I was definitely getting Brain vibes. But yeah, Kate McKinnon did a great job.
She
But
did so good. She's just so good.
I love Kate McKinnon. Like she's for me top 5 SNL.
Oh, 100%.
Um so we see Ace like planning an escape. He's like, yeah, we're I'm gonna get us out of here. And he's able to actually do it. We see a guy come in there flirting with the owner to no avail. And we see that Superman is there because he wants to find Crypto a friend because Superman says to Lois he needs a friend. Like, I'm his only friend. He doesn't do well with others. We should probably, do something about that.
Yeah, Crypto definitely has anxious attachment.
Yeah. And I mean, with Superman's whole situation, it's probably not a great idea to have a dog interacting with non-super dogs
Hmm.
because that could get ugly real quick. And, if you're dealing with a dog that you assume doesn't understand English or, whatever, then yeah, like because dogs, non-super dogs jump on people all the time.
Superdog does it. Oh no.
It's not good.
Well, then
Like
he even struggles to hold conversation because he's talking to the little corgi dog outside, saying his name is Bark Kent, trying to confuse people with his glasses. And then the guy was like, "I bet the FedEx guy," and he was like, "Who does he work for? The Legion of Doom, Lex Luthor,
that
any of those
FedEx.
things?" And he was like, "FedEx." He was like, "The Federation of X's," and the guy was just he scooches over and goes,
Yeah.
Wonder what's taking my order so long."
Yeah, he was trying to get out of there. So yeah, that that was what we needed to be like, okay, he doesn't people well.
He's so awkward.
Yeah, but that again, that makes sense. He's not used to dealing with anyone else.
Yeah, he's not socialized.
Yeah. And so Superman is, trying to fix that. So Superman is like, let's find him a friend, which is, how the pet store kind of happens. And so we see that Ace is able to escape, and then Crypto shows up. He's like, I'm gonna have to put you back in your cage. And that kind of creates an enemy, but it's whatever.
I mean, Ace said a poor choice of words because this goes back to how Crypto don't know how to talk to people, takes everything literally. Ace goes, "I'm doing a jailbreak." And he was like,
Yeah,
"Jailbreak?"
yeah, can't do that. And so Crypto, pretty easily deals with Ace, and then Ace is put back in his cage. And another thing, we see that Lulu is building some kind of device, and Ace is like, "You just got a bunch of trash up there." And Lulu's like, "Hey, don't come for me. I know what I'm doing." And again, that's when I was like, "Yeah, that's some Pinky in the Brain shit."
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lex is he's found like a giant meteor of orange kryptonite. Like it's huge. And he's like, it'll give me powers. So the entire league shows up because Superman is like, guess what? I have friends.
And you don't.
So his friends show up and they're able to deal with that. And then we see that Lulu's little machine, little tractor beam, works. And she says what Lex didn't realize is that this orange kryptonite does not give humans powers, but it does give powers to pets. And it's kind of just like a compound V situation. You're just gonna get what you get.
See, I want to know if it works on not animals that are pets.
I assume it works on any animal.
It's just they were emphasizing pets.
And the reason for that is because that's the movie. Like that,
It's the
I
name
think,
of the movie.
and yeah, that's the name of like the Legion of Super Pets
Hmm.
is the, comic book point of reference, which I've never read any of those comics, so I don't have that in my bank of things. I just
Hmm.
know like there's a bunch of animals with logos on them. That's the Legion of Super Pets. So, yeah. Um, so Lulu does get it and then, brings it in and it gives her new telekinesis powers. And yeah, she's a problem.
They gave her all the powers.
Yeah. Like it was Ebony Maw style telekinesis. Like she could do whatever she wanted. And I mean, she had to be formidable, so that makes sense. And everybody else gets powers too. So, what was funny to me was, as she was leaving and started a fire and all that and it was like, you're not going to save us, no. And then this little kitten, it's like, what about me? It's like, I'm not a monster.
Whiskers. She goes, I'm not a monster. Come on. And then
Yeah, so
floats
yeah,
away.
yeah, Whiskers, yeah, you can go ahead and come on, but yeah, like the rest of you, no.
Then we find out later she made Whiskers a problem.
Yeah, Whiskers is a problem. But um we see that everybody has powers. Ace super strong and pretty much invulnerable.
Mhm.
uh PB can grow and shrink. We see that Merton has super speed, which,
It's a turtle.
yeah.
I
And
love
so, of
it.
course. And we see that Chip gets electric powers, which was interesting. I know Chip as a Green Lantern,
Hmm.
and I didn't know what they were going to do with Chip, but I also I wanted to know who voiced Chip because if Chip was voiced by a black person, then I was going to say, of course they gave him electric powers because that's the rules.
It was Diego Luna, so no.
So no. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, cool. But, had it been somebody Dominican, I would have been like, of course.
I heard Chip talk and I went, I know who that is.
I didn't know who it was immediately, but I'm not as familiar with him.
I like Diego Luna a lot.
So, yeah. And he did a great job.
He did.
But yeah, whenever Chip had electric powers, I was like, is he black? I'm gonna have to go check. And when he wasn't, I was like, okay. He did end up with uh, a Dominican lady, but that's okay. He became a Green Lantern. That's what was important.
Exactly.
But anyway, um, Superman is about to go on a date with Lois, and Crypto is pissed because like we have Bake Off tonight.
It was cracking up.
Like, what are you doing?
It's I week.
Yeah, like Crypto was not happy. And we see that Lulu shows up because, Lois is there and Superman is leaving. And so Crypto is just in full, like, got broken up with mode.
Full
Uh,
Taylor Swift,
yeah,
all the snacks.
yeah, Taylor Swift and ice cream. So yeah, he is hurt.
And I was like, how are you watching Bake Off? Blasting bad blood, but okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what we're doing. And you're like, where did you get headphones? But whatever. Dog headphones. That's cool. So Lulu shows up, and Lulu just knows that Superman is Clark Kent, which I don't know if Lex knows, but yeah, just showed up, pulled up at his house. It was like, here's some green kryptonite.
I was cracking up because she was like, Kal-El, son of
Yeah.
Jao or whatever, and she was like, I am Lulu, daughter of Cinnamon.
And as far as Superman was concerned, it was just squeaks.
Calls her a hamster. They kept calling them hamsters, and I'm just like,
Yes.
guinea pigs and hamsters, like, yes, they're both like rodents. They're not the same.
But people who don't know that don't know that.
It was just so, I mean, she was a naked one, so I guess it's hard to tell.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like whenever you just see, like, if a hamster's the rodent at that size, that's what you're gonna call it. Like, there are a lot of times you're not gonna look that hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably pretty offensive being called out of your name and out of your species.
They get called ferrets at one point too.
which that's crazy.
Batman was like, the ferrets are gonna take over the world. And I
Yeah,
was like,
that
did they just tell Keanu to say whatever he
I think they did.
wants?
I think they just said Keanu, just freestyle it.
Have fun, my dude.
Yeah, because if anybody's going to be perceptive enough to know what it actually is, it's going to be Batman. But again, this is a movie for children. It's a movie for babies, and that's okay. It was still a fun time. So,
It was a fun time.
but yeah, Lulu's just squeaking at Superman, and Superman is like, "Oh, okay, well," and he pulls out the green kryptonite, and yeah, it's a problem. So, they like start fighting, and Superman is about to start putting a whooping on Lulu, but then again, the green kryptonite definitely a problem. And Superman is calling for help, but bad blood is too loud.
I was cracking up because like he calling for help, can't hear him, but then he hears the very whisper, like, help at
Well, that's
the
because
end.
at that point he didn't have the headphones on.
Exactly. But I'm like, he's a super dog.
Yeah, but he found some cheese in the wall randomly,
He
and
left me cheese. No.
then, but the movie's got to happen. So yeah, it's always in the cheese.
Dog's greatest weakness.
Yeah, and so no powers. And so Crypto, talks to a hologram of his dad because that's a very Krypton thing to do. Dog L, again, voiced by Keith David,
So funny.
which is great. And he was like, I really wish there was a fast forward on this thing or like a skip button. And he, asks for some wisdom and guidance. And then he comes across the animals from the shelter and he is beat up. Like, he's like, I've never run before.
Bro got hit by a car.
He did get hit by a car. And yeah, he was like, this being normal thing is trash. Like, I don't like this one bit. And we see that the other pets have been told about the farm, and that was hilarious also.
Dude, they just were like, the farm, upstate.
Because we are like, oh
As an adult, you know what that means.
yeah, we
It's
know
weird.
where the farm is. And so I was like, that's hilarious that they're doing that. Hopefully they don't go to the farm.
Yeah. And then they called it the animal farm at one point, and I was just like, ooh, literary joke in there.
Yeah, they were throwing in some stuff for us. Um, so yeah, the farm upstate was a good little jokey joke in there, and I like that. But one of the things that bothered me, and then I was like, why is this a problem for me? Um, oh, actually, before we do that, one of the jokes, another joke that was in there that was like for me, whenever the pig said, "This is my origin story, and my uncle didn't even have to die." Hilarious.
And then she was like, why am I smelling bacon? And why do I like it? There's a lot to unpack here.
Pure comedy. Pure comedy.
Which she's an SNL person too, because I think it's Vanessa Bayer that plays her.
It is. And she did a great job. Some of her line reads were perfect. Like because there were those, and then there's another one that is like subtle, but she did it later, and I was like, yes. Um, but yeah, that was perfect because there is a spider ham. Like,
Yeah.
and so that's if you don't know about spider ham, then there's another layer that
The
like
the the Marvel comments in the DC movie were sending me.
yes,
They were
they were great.
so funny. There was so many of them too.
It's because this is 2022. So yeah, we're doing it.
They
Why
said
not?
it's animation. We don't care.
We don't care. Like this movie is stupid. So and yeah, again, that was for us. So yeah, really glad that those were in there. But the this bothered me and it shouldn't have. They were looking up at the stars. There's no way Metropolis. No, you're not going to see stars in Metropolis. The light pollution is far too much.
Like even in the park or whatever they were in, like, no, you're not gonna
No,
see them. And she's
you're
like,
in.
there's so many. No, there's
No, there's not.
not. There's high rises. That's what
Yep.
you're seeing. You're seeing planes fly by
But this is a land of make-believe where animals have superpowers.
and
And
can talk.
and I'm mad about the fact that they can see stars in the sky.
I was mad because I was like, where are they pulling out these objects from? They don't have pockets. So that's what was making me be like, what is this?
Also, yeah, what are we doing?
Like
But
when they were in the park and Lois, he was like, I got you this croissant. And she was like, I got you this hot dog. And I was like, she just has an exposed hot dog.
yeah,
What are we doing?
what are we doing? Oh God. But yeah, this again, I should not be bothered, but whatever.
It's a valid thing.
So Lulu goes to the lab where there are a bunch of guinea pigs who are very happy with their lives.
Were they at a school or was it a
Yeah,
school? Yeah, because he
it
was
looked like
like,
a school.
yeah, because he goes, we have Spanish class on miércoles.
Yes, that's true. You're right. They were at a school. Um, and uh, fucking Ben Schwartz and uh the other guy, Middle. I want to say he's got Middleton in his name, or middle something. Uh,
Thomas Middle Ditch.
that
Something like
guy.
that. Yeah, that
Uh,
guy. He's in a
those
lot of
two.
stuff.
Yeah, those two together. Yeah, they're a
Oh
good
my
time.
God. The little fire and ice guinea pigs were great.
That was them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So, but yeah, I feel like they had most of the guinea pig lines, and so Lulu needs an army, and so Lulu's like, "Hey, I'm going to give all of you powers," and of course they all just get random ass powers. And Batman shows up, and she's like, "Attack!" And they're just kind of waiting. It's like, "Well, I was waiting for you to go." It's like, "Well, I was waiting for you to go." It's
Well,
like,
yeah, because
"Well,
he's like, I'm ice. She'll melt me.
yeah, like, but if we go at the same time," and I was like, "That's funny."
And then they're like, maybe the bird lady can go. And she goes, I have a name.
It's like, but I would burn her wings, and that wouldn't be good. I was
She
like,
goes,
well, I don't want to freeze her wings.
it clogs the feathers.
Yeah, that whole exchange was great.
Meanwhile, Thor guinea pigs back there that could have just went first.
Yes, send the Fabio guinea pig. That's who you send first. And
Correct.
that thing gut punch Batman. I was like, ooh,
And he went, ooh.
yeah, like he felt that. And swole ass Wonder Woman shows up, and it's like, okay, we got us a fight on our hands. Okay, we're doing this.
Mhm.
And so they see on TV that the Justice League is defeated by these superpowered guinea pigs. And we see like what happens to each of them. They just again kind of get defeated. And so all of the super pets are like, oh well, we have to go and save them. And they don't know how to use their powers. So they are super ineffective. Like get nothing done. Fucking Merton just runs off
And
to
he's like,
nowhere.
and then he goes, where the am I?
Yeah. Merton is just
Eats a
useless.
weed.
Yeah, because that's what Merton is here for.
It's because Merton can't see shit.
Exactly. Merton is old as fuck. Um, PB can't get the size regulation going.
Becomes tiny. It's supposed to be big.
Yeah, and almost gets trampled. Like that was not good. Uh, the squirrel Chip is just
He was like, do I go now? Do I wait? Is waiting the problem? Gets frozen.
yep, immediately. Again, useless. And so Crypto's like, well, okay, I may not have powers, but I'm still gonna try. And, immediately gets stopped. And Crypto says to Lulu, it's like, you are literally a guinea pig. Like, it's literally that is you're the reason that phrase exists. Like,
Hmm.
how do you not understand that Lex is just using you? And she's like, no, that is my owner. I love him. How dare you?
He was like, we were partners and scientists together. And I was like, girl.
Yeah, like, honey.
He went, your hair fell out. And she went, so did his.
Also very funny. Uh, but yeah, so she's like, um, okay, you want to talk about owners? You want to talk about owners? Let's talk about owners. How about your owner and how he was going to abandon you for this woman? He was going to marry her, and he was like, "You're a liar." She's like, "Oh,
Which
well then why did I find this?" And presents the ring, and he is just heartbroken.
I was like, dude.
Yep, you're gonna be okay, but again, he doesn't understand how social things work. So he just looks at it as he is being thrown away and forgotten and all that. The way that he sees it, he is losing his best friend. And so Lulu just throws him to the Hall of Justice. And that's the kind of throw, that's kind of toss where it's like, oh, if you don't have powers, that's not good for you. But the other pets make their way there. And Ace tells Crypto his origin story, and it is sad.
I was like, oh, that poor baby.
Yeah, that but that's how that would have happened.
Yeah.
Like that's unfortunately. But and he says like I would have I that was the worst day of my life, but I would have done it again. Because what I wasn't gonna
Mhm.
have was that baby falling down them stairs.
Yep.
We're not doing that. Um so yeah, that was sad. And I was like, yep, that's a good origin story. And so they go to Stryker's Island and they figure, of course, that's where Lulu's going to be. So, yeah, we're going to Stryker's Island. And they take the invisible jet. The invisible jet is almost immediately shot down.
I'm also pretty
And
sure Crypto didn't actually know how to fly it.
that's what I was wondering. I was like, Crypto, you're going to crash that thing.
He goes, it flies and I flies. It's not the same.
It's like riding a bike. No, it's like flying. Uh, because yeah, I think Ace was like, "Can you ride a bike?" And it was like, "No, I can fly." So yeah, luckily didn't have to worry about that because Whiskers shot that thing down.
Demon
And
kitty.
yeah, Whiskers was the problem. And so yeah,
He goes,
luckily,
Lulu saved my life. Now I have to end yours.
that's the deal. That's the game. That's what we're doing.
I said, oh.
And so yeah, Lulu's just shooting fucking missiles all over the place.
Hmm.
And Crypto now kind of has to pep talk the team to get everybody right. To hey, we need you to I need you to get control of your powers in order for us to actually be effective here. So everybody gets, a pep talk for their situation because one of the things that Ace kind of teaches Crypto about is listening. Because Crypto says, "You really know about your team." And he's like, "Yeah, I listen." And that's the one of the lessons that Crypto learns and uses here to get everybody in a better situation because what Crypto does know about is having powers and being a hero and all of that, and so he's able to combine those two things to pep talk everybody into using teamwork to defeat Whiskers, which yeah, when they defeated Whiskers I was like, oh, Whiskers is dead.
I have 8 more lives.
And then Whiskers said that I was like, this is a children's movie.
Because they
This is
sealed him into the box.
Yeah, this is a movie for babies. Did you watch Korra, Legend of Korra?
I don't know if I did. I don't
Okay.
think so. That's the Avatar Airbender spinoff, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
So Korra is the avatar after Aang. And in the third season, you watched Avatar the Last Airbender, right?
Yes.
And you know Sparky Sparky Boom Man,
I think so, yeah.
who can like explode shit from the third eye on his head?
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So there's a lady who can do that in Legend of Korra. And in the third season, Legend of Korra gets dark. Uh the metal benders, spoiler alert, um, she breathes in to, let that thing off, and the metal benders close her head off in a helmet.
Oh,
And then they cut away from it.
because that means she exploded.
Yeah, that's what happened to the cat.
But he has 8 more lives.
But he has 8 more lives. She didn't. But yeah, I was like, again, I was like, this is for babies. What are we doing? Like, I have 8 more lives. I was like, ah.
And then they just leave.
But that does in fact mean there was a death. That confirms that Whiskers lost a life in there.
Correct. I mean, he bombed himself
Yeah, there was a grenade that
with his
was
hairball grenade.
closed off, like sealed.
That was wild how they all worked together to seal the kid.
Yep,
I was like, oh, he welded that shut.
yep. And so yeah, no, you're not getting out. So yeah, 8 more lives. I bet you do. And so cool. Um, they go to Stryker's Island, and Lulu puts them all in cells because Lulu is like, "Hey, you're all going to get in these cells, or it's going to get ugly in here." Lulu does that and frees Lex. And Lex does a full Lex move. Puts Lulu in his cell and is like, "Oh, you thought I was going to give you the credit for this? Thought you were going to get the credit for this? Absolutely not. No, I'm getting yeah, no. Mercy, let's go." And of course, Lulu is betrayed. Lulu's heart is hurt now. So, uh, fire and now water come through. Well, are they
No,
fire
he's
and water
ice
yet?
still at this point.
I still okay. Yeah, because Lulu deals with him later. Um, so fire and ice come through and free Lulu.
They're like, hey, how'd it go? And they see it and they're like, I just want to say, never liked the guy.
Yeah, like now that we can talk about it, yeah, I always kind of hated him. It's like those are good. Those are good soldiers.
Those are good ones.
Um, so Crypto is over there sad, and then I guess Crypto took a shit at some point.
Okay, the poop jokes. I knew there was going to be somebody who was like, my poop don't stink. It smells like sandalwood. But he said
Yeah,
that earlier. And then Ace goes, it does smell.
when
How can he smell it in the closed off thing? But okay.
and also like when I guess they can't show fecal matter
In a fully white
in a
cell.
children, yeah, like because yeah, it would have been painfully obvious. But I'm like, no, there should be some evidence of that, or we should have known that that happened or something.
Well, it's because during his whole pep talk, he started floating. So that was our evidence.
Yeah, but in that cell should
There
have
should be
been
something.
there should be something.
I'm also like, and then he's in the presence of the kryptonite still. So I'm like, are you affected differently?
Again, the movie's got to happen.
It's for kids.
It's a movie for babies, and that's okay. So yeah, I just have to put that one away and let the movie happen. So, um, we see that all of the League have been captured. Like they are all just in, like Superman's in a kryptonite bubble, and Wonder Woman is in a box tied with her own lasso. Flash has a treadmill.
He's got his. They're in a hamster cage.
Yeah.
That's their
Aquaman.
prison. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Aquaman is in a fish tank, and they did him so dirty with the fish food thing.
I was dying. I was like, oh no. And then Batman did his whole like surrounded by bats.
Yeah. And whenever they defeated Cyborg, I'm glad that somebody said it because they just took a battery out, and someone was like, "Is that how that works?"
They put him in airplane.
Yeah.
I
But
was
yeah,
like,
like
you can't take yourself out of airplane.
whenever the hamsters defeated him, they just took a big ass battery out of his back.
Well, and I think Chip was like, I don't know, is that how that works or
Yeah,
something?
that was that. It's like, oh, okay. Because whenever it happened, I was like, all right. And so I'm glad that I think you're right. It was Chippy. Like somebody was like, I don't know if that's how that works, but good. I was like, somebody said it because what are we doing?
I think they didn't know how to defeat Cyborg, and they were just like, he's a robot. Let's take a battery out of him
It's a movie for babies,
because it's for
so
kids. Kids aren't gonna
that's
get it.
yeah, like that's
Either
something
that or rip something off of him.
like that is something kids understand.
Yeah,
Is
batteries make power.
if you take the batteries out of something, it won't work.
Yep,
Kids absolutely understand that.
they got their toys.
Exactly. So, yeah, I guess that's the move we're doing. So, um, Lulu, unfortunately, pushes the button, which launches the league into space. And Crypto's like, oh, I got my powers back, so I'm gonna go ahead and handle that. And Lois, of course, is in a helicopter. Lois is always in a fucking helicopter,
Lois is always just kind of in the way trying to
getting
get the
herself into danger.
story.
Yes, always, every time. And so Lulu is like, you can save the league or you can save Lois, but you can't do both. Right on time, the friends show up and he's like, cool, y'all save the league. I'ma save Lois. And the pets are like, what? You don't want to switch jobs? I feel like we should switch jobs, but okay. So Lois is saved, and Crypto starts fighting Lulu, and they're, throwing hands. Like they're doing some stuff. And the Super Pets are able to save the league, and they definitely, put together some teamwork to make that happen. That works
Mhm.
out. And so everybody is saved, everything is cool, and Lulu is like, oh no, we can't have this. So Lulu grinds and snorts the orange kryptonite into her brain and becomes a kaiju.
It was so gross looking.
Yes, it was.
And
And
kaiju's a great description of what that looked like.
yeah. And so, yeah, she becomes a kaiju and she's too much. Like she's a problem. And so earlier we learn of the super paw punch. Which I think PB was the one who tells the story of that.
Hmm.
And I also the other line read that was funny to me, and I don't know if this is exactly what she said, but it was something to the effect of like Crypto brought up Wonder Woman, and PB was like, "And praise be to Wonder Woman."
Oh yeah, no, she did, and it was so funny.
Something to that effect.
It's when they were in the car and he was trying to get her to shrink when the
Yeah,
cat was after him.
it was the pep talk. Yeah, it's
He was
like,
like,
and Wonder
Wonder
Woman,
Woman,
praise be,
praise be, and he goes, Diana. She straight up
hilarious.
said praise be her name or something like that.
Something to that, yeah,
It
something to
was
that effect.
so
I was like,
funny.
it's so funny, but yeah, they got some comedians in this movie. Um, Even though, again, Kevin Hart did zero heavy lifting as far as
No.
comedy goes. Um, we'll talk about it at the end. But
Yeah.
um, she tells the tale of the solar paw punch, which Crypto decides to use because this is what we're gonna have to do. And so Crypto goes up to the sun, gets the necessary energy, comes down with the solar paw punch, and Ace uses his invulnerability to shield Crypto from what I guess would have been death. I guess. Whatever. The movie's got to happen.
K9 Shield.
Yeah. And so now everyone in the league's got a super pet. Because whenever the Fire and Ice Hamster were like, I mean, we were fine with your first plan, but like we didn't really sign up for like the league's murder.
And she was like, what did you think we were doing?
Like, what do you think we're doing here? But okay. And then she just presses them together, which is just so disrespectful.
I was like, oh, now he's a water guinea pig.
Yes, which might be better. Who knows?
Worked out.
It worked out perfectly. So, yeah, everybody's got a super pet now. Everybody got one. Like the whole league. Everybody in the league got one. Even Batman.
That okay, them trauma dumping, comparing their traumas to each other was so funny. He was like, as a child, he was like, when I was a puppy.
Yes. And again, Kevin Hart was not right for that.
No, it was just so serious.
Yeah, Kevin Hart was the wrong casting for that, in my opinion. Like that was, of course, we're at the end of the movie at that point, but that was the point I was like, oh yeah, that was the Kevin Hart was the wrong move.
Yeah.
Like this whole scene is ruined, in my opinion. But, whatever. So we see some credits and we see that Lex never got out of the trap because Lulu built some extra shit on the trap for Lex
Mm-hmm.
because, Lex ain't shit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Lex is still in there, just confined. And Mercy finds Lulu in the hot dog water.
Them putting her in hot dog water was so funny. She was like,
Yeah.
I'm in hot dog water, ain't I? I
Yep. Which is
was like, ew.
that's gross. But yeah, Mercy's like, hey, you and I, we're the real brains here. So come on. You
She
come
goes, you
on
want
me
to go
around.
live in a studio apartment?
And yeah, when Mercy said that she didn't get paid enough, yeah, Mercy doesn't get paid enough.
No.
But Lulu was like, let me think about it for a second. Absolutely. And so that, could have set us up for a sequel or something.
Hmm.
And then after some more credits, we see Black Adam shows up with his dog.
I was like, oh, look, Rockception.
Yeah, because this is shortly before the Black Adam movie came out. So we
Yeah.
gotta we gotta do some plugging for that because The Rock is in this. And The Rock really thought that Black Adam was gonna be the future.
It would have been if he didn't have all that crazy crap in his contracts.
Yeah. So anyway, there was a movie to promote, so let's go ahead and promote it. And so
Yeah.
The Rock voiced Crypto and Black Adam and Black Adam's dog.
He worked for that post-credit scene.
Yeah. And tricked him into flying to Pluto.
But he got
So
Squeaky Bruce back.
he did.
Dude,
So,
whenever Ace came out with his Squeaky, or what do they call it? Something man, super chew or something
or
like that.
yeah, Superman.
Superman, that's what it was. And he went, that's disrespectful. Y'all started this.
Yeah. Because that's what I was like, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So, yeah, I think that Kevin Hart was a poor casting choice for this movie. And honestly, him being there kind of took away from it for me. But Kevin Hart isn't movie funny to me. And I don't know if comedy was his job in this movie.
He can do serious stuff, but I think they were trying to like write it as like not super serious.
He can. Uh, like most comedians can do serious really well.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. But again, this was not a good role for him.
Yeah.
And I think that like I don't know who else he would have been, but yeah, like he either shouldn't have been in the movie or should have been somebody else.
Hmm.
Because yeah, like I don't think that him being Ace fit. Like it didn't make sense and it wasn't good in my opinion.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I was happy with everyone else.
Hmm.
Um again, Kate McKinnon, fabulous job.
She's so good.
Vanessa Bayer, fabulous job.
So
Honestly, The Rock did a really good job in this movie.
he did, because he's good at playing like the type of characters that Crypto is. So,
Yeah, like kind of heroic, clueless.
yeah.
Um, and there are a lot like The Rock has more range than people give him credit for, but yeah, he can do this pretty well. So yeah, but yeah, this movie was, in my opinion, pretty funny.
I liked the music choices too, because the Taylor Swift was funny, but also the action song was a Sturgill Simpson song, which got me really excited because he's like one of my favorite artists, and so I was like, oh, Sturgill songs in a movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did some pretty good job with the score as well. So, Alexa, scale of 1 to 10, what are you thinking?
I thought it was a fun watch. I'm not super familiar with the comic it's based off of, but like I used to watch a crypto cartoon when I was younger, so I know that. But I think I would give it like a 7, I would think, because it was funny. I was laughing.
Okay. I agree. I give it a 7. Not because it was like good, but because it was entertaining. I think it was pretty audience appropriate
Hmm.
and it still managed to get some laughs out of me. One of the things that I really like that this movie did, you know how I shit on the concept of the power of friendship.
It did the power of friendship.
This movie actually did the power of friendship.
It
Like,
really did.
this was a proper use of the power of friendship, in my opinion. This is what the power of friendship should look like.
Yes.
So I think that, like, that's why I never called it the power of friendship, because it was actually like solid teamwork.
Yeah, well, because when you say the power of friendship, it's when something gets solved and you're like, how the hell did this get solved?
Yeah. Like, um, I mean, just one example in spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't seen it. In Captain America Brave New World,
Oh, yeah.
he uses the power of friendship to win the day.
And it's like, what?
What?
No
That's not
super serum, no nothing, just
what he should have. I'm not going to talk about that movie.
I,
Um, but anyway, yeah, like the power of friendship means that nothing was actually done.
no.
Like you just kind of talked to them and they realized the error of their ways through the power of friendship. The power of love is the same thing, but makes a little more sense.
Yeah,
But yeah, like this is what.
it did it again, Spencer. Our rant about the power of friendship.
Sorry, I think my mic just like stopped working. Um, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Good, 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 good. Yes, the power of friendship. I think that this is actually the power of friendship and what the power of friendship should look like. Like they used teamwork to win the day, and I like it. So, um, yeah, I give it a solid 7.
Mhm.
Um, I think that for a movie for babies, it's pretty good. So, anything else on the movie?
I thought it was a fun time, and like I watched it twice before we recorded within a few days of each other, and I wasn't mad about it. So it was a good time. And then you catch some fun little quips in there, and then you're like, "This is for children." I still love the cussing turtle.
Yes, that was just bleeped out, and
It's
it was great, and that's very Natasha. Like
very.
she was the right casting for that, and she did a great job.
It was so good. That was the highlight of that film for me was turtle.
Yep, Merton was pretty great.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. In the next episode, we will be discussing Batman and Superman: Battle of the Super Sons. So until then, salutations.